Yeah, thanks all you guys for joining. We're back again with Life Beyond the Room. Karen Hadaway will be hosting this webinar on Rome and the Jubilee, which will be interesting to hear about. And it's very interactive, so feel free to jump in with questions or raise your hand or type in the chat, but really don't hesitate to just chime in with a question. And I'm going to turn it over to Karen and Jonathan now.
Awesome, Tracy. Thank you so much. Well, like Tracy said, thank you all for being here. I know how busy everyone's schedules are, so we definitely appreciate it that you're taking that time to be with us. My name is Karen, and I'm one of the founders of Life Beyond the Room, and this is...
And I'm Jonathan. I'm the creative director. I'm Italian, like you can
hear.
You can hear, yes. So I travel all around Italy, so I'm here to help Karen with this webinar about Rome because I know a lot about this city and this country.
Yes, and he's like the food person, so any food-related questions, he's our guy, and he also has made a lot of the beautiful content that you'll see today, but he also leads a lot of group trips, so he kind of does a little bit of everything. Like Tracy said, please feel free. I would love to make this super interactive, so feel free to just jump in. We'll do our best to kind of keep an eye on the chat, but if you have any questions, just feel free to chime in. You don't have to wait until the end. So let's start. So for those of you who were not here or who may not have seen the recording from last time, just really quickly who we are. We're not going to spend too much time on this, but you know, we call ourselves keepers of culture and tradition in travel. We promote what we call sensorial travel, which is a way of immersive traveling that involves all of your five senses, right? And so it's a very unique and immersive way of experiences new places, new culture, new people. We all speak multiple languages, so we're a very multicultural, multilingual team. He speaks more languages than I do, so I'm the dummy in the room.
Yeah, that's not true. That's not true.
And you know, we're travel designers, so we're here to help guide the decisions, to help curate the experiences based on your client's unique needs. How we work, we put a tremendous amount of resources and time into R&D. In fact, your clients, your travelers will never go to a hotel and accommodation that we haven't personally vetted before. Even if you bring us one and you're like, hey, have you heard of this place? Like we're recently doing that with one of our travel advisors right now. We'd be happy because we have local managers all over the country to go and do that R&D for you. We provide turnkey itineraries in Travelify. So for those of you who have Travelify, makes it super easy. And I've gotten the questions, so feel free to ask any questions here about whether we do one-off tours or if we book, you know, half of the itinerary, maybe without the accommodations. As a general rule of thumb, we like to provide the full turnkey itinerary from the moment they arrive to the moment they depart, because we want to guarantee the quality across the board. We know all of our drivers, our guide, our experiences, right, our accommodations. We can be flexible on a case-to-case basis if you have your own accommodations that you prefer to book, but in terms of just doing one-off tours, we may not be the best fit for that. And then one of the things that makes us super unique are our local managers. All of your clients, once they leave, they get assigned to one of our local managers based on the regions that they're going to, and they become their main point of contact during your client's entire trip. So they kind of act like their 24-hour concierge person on WhatsApp. They can call them, so it's not like a hotline.
Italian too. They're all Italian.
All Italians. Yes, they speak really good English, and they're literally one of the amazing keys to success. Some clients, they like to send pictures, you know, be in touch every day. Some like to be a little bit more on the quiet side, but we find that having that person that is there for them whenever they need just adds to that comfort and that care that we strive to provide. So like I said, we spent a lot of time on that in the other webinar, but if you have any questions on how we work, we can feel free to ask, and we can also schedule a separate conversations. So let's talk about Rome, our hometown. So last year in 2023, we saw, according to the official Ente Bilaterale del Turismo in the region of Lazio, 13.8 million registered check-ins, right? But really 31.5 million people that came through Rome. So if you account for cruisers, you know, day trippers, and all the check-ins that probably didn't get registered correctly. And as you can imagine, the main sites visited are the Vatican, the Trevi Fountain, and the Colosseum. What's going to happen next year, right? Obviously, we don't have 2024 numbers, or although those were already scheduled to increase, but 2025, which is the year of Jubilee, we are expected to see 35 millions, not of just people coming through, but actually people that are going to stay, which is going to put a lot of pressure on the infrastructure. And we'll see in the next slides how Jubilee will impact, you and your travelers. I don't know if you all know what Jubilee is, but let's let this person in. For those of you who don't know, it's like a pilgrimage to Rome, right? With the Catholic Church, it happens once every 25 years. So it's a big deal. There's a lot of things that are already happening now that are impacting this year's travelers in preparation for Jubilee. And it's just this pilgrimage to Rome where people come. They have a chance a lot of the times to meet with the Pope, right? To reconcile with God, with others, and with creation. We put a link on here if you would like to read up more on it. Again, feel free to ask any questions. And the crazy thing is that it lasts the whole year. It starts in December 24th. We have a client that was booked their flight for December 25th and had no idea that Jubilee was happening. And the Pope opens the holy door the evening of Christmas Eve. And then it goes all the way through the February, the Epiphany, which is February 6th of the following year. So how is Jubilee, right, going to impact tourism, which it already is. But of course, way more crowds, as you've seen from the numbers, right? Way more crowds, higher prices, because, the accommodations can charge more. We don't have enough hotels in Rome to accommodate for that amount of people. So overbooking is very likely to happen. Just like you book a flight, sometimes and it gets canceled, right? Because they overbooked it. That's more likely to happen in 2025.
Someone has to talk. Steve.
Perfect. Yes, please talk.
Yes, Steve.
So you said Jubilee ends in February of the following year. Would that be in 2026 it ends?
Yes.
Okay. So it is the whole.
Yes. So it's like a whole year and 2 months, a month and a few days, like right around the Epiphany, which is February 6th.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, please keep the questions coming. This is very important. We believe the education, right, is the key to success. So, again, limited tickets. I don't know if a lot of you know, but right in April, we went through this whole transition of the entity that issues the Colosseum, the Vatican tickets. During the year of Jubilee, anything can happen. The Pope wakes up and he decides today Vaticans are going to be closed, right? We had some tickets for that day for your travelers. It's going to be very important to just make clients understand the flexibility that will be needed, because anything last minute can happen, right? And when you're booking tickets on places like Get Your Guide, Viator, they give you the tickets 24 hours before, and sometimes they don't give you the tickets. They get canceled because they don't actually have the tickets. The Colosseum tickets, they come out 30 days before. Vatican tickets 60 days before, the official ones, because we don't charge you 3 times the amount, right? We charge you what the official Vatican sites and Colosseum sites actually charge. And so a lot of the times they cannot get those tickets, even if they're selling them to you a year before. So we actually let you know, hey, obviously we're up at midnight, our team is up at midnight. We'd all take turns to purchase those tickets, but just letting your clients know that things may close, right? The availability may be more limited. Construction and road closure, which will impact the way in which your travelers are going to get around the city. It started months ago. There's a reconstruction.
Now if you go in Rome, you can see nothing, because everything is like they try to renovate everything, like hold the bridge, like Castel Sant'Angelo, near Fontana di Trevi. Yeah, it's like Piazza Navona, the fountain. You can see the fountain now.
Yes.
So
Yeah, so it's already impacting this year's
Yeah.
traveling in preparation for Jubilee. And as a result, you know, we love to give free time in every single itinerary. We don't like to overpack schedule, but it will be a little bit harder to have spontaneity, right? It will be harder to just stumble upon a great restaurant that has availability that's not a tourist trap, right? And of course, just like any big event, you know, in any city in the world, there's going to be more petty crime. Like people, it will attract that inevitably. So now that we know some of the challenges, right, let's talk about how we can actually counter those challenges and help our clients be more prepared for a successful journey to the Eternal City. More crowds, of course. If they can skip Rome in 2025 altogether, that's our recommendation, right? Obviously, we understand that a lot of people, this is their trip of a lifetime. They can't do that. But traveling off season, which we'll see in a second what that means, you know, off season used to be like April, May, you know, October. It's not. Those have all become extremely high seasons, as I'm sure you all know. And then offering alternative destinations. So we'll be talking about what else is near Rome, where maybe they can come to Rome for a couple of days and experience what it is that they like to experience. But this region actually has some other amazing hidden gems that we're going to share with you today. As far as higher prices, obviously, the soonest you plan, there's no such thing as I cannot plan a year or even 18 months ahead. And, you know, a lot of hotels, because, you know, the Italians are a little bit lazy when it comes to pricing, it's true. If you plan now, they don't have their 2025 rates. Guess what? They are most likely to honor 2024 rates, which means your client can get automatically a 10 to 15% discount, right, of what the increased rates will typically be, even without Jubilee, right? And then, of course, just having realistic budget expectations, you know, 10,000 for a week for two, that's no longer cutting it, right? In most locations in Italy, that's not black and white, you know, off season, if you stay put in one place, but just being a little bit realistic when it comes to budgeting those trips. Again, booking now, when it comes to accommodation availability, we pride ourselves in working with very boutique local partners that, as you'll see, they only have a handful of rooms. And as such, you know, a couple months before the trip, even 3-4 months before the trip, it's harder for us to get that availability. And then, of course, promoting some of the alternative destinations that you learned about. Limited tickets, again, just having that flexible mindset. And, you know, I know sometimes it's hard because they are married to the Colosseum. They're married to the underground, right? But unfortunately, there's a lot we can do in a lot of other things. But when it comes to those things at the Colosseum and the Vatican, it's important to be realistic and let the client know. We'll do our best to secure underground tickets for the Colosseum, but they're not guaranteed, right? Until that midnight, 30 days before. As far as the construction and the road closure, we were really thinking about this because it's going to be hard for taxis, private transfers, right, or NHEC to get in a lot of streets next year because they'll be closed off to through traffic. So we thought if you have active clients, right, I mean, is it dangerous? Yes and no, just like in any city. But if you have active clients, we have more bike paths, maybe getting an e-bike rental, especially in those areas where there'll be no through traffic, that could be a good way to get around and experience the city differently. And then, of course, again, when it comes to free time, maybe Rome next year in terms of spontaneous activity may not be as easy to accommodate. So picking an accommodation, if that's important to your clients, that provides, we say the accommodation is the destination, like an accommodation that does give you that Roman experience so that you can spend your free time and those spontaneous activities in and around that accommodation. And also planning for some free time away from the hotspots, which will
la
cover
dolce vita, il dolce far niente.
exactly the sweetness of doing nothing, right? That's what they all come here for, but it's very rare, especially in a place like Rome, that people get to have that
But
experience.
we have
So,
some accommodation where you can enjoy this art, this Italian art.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, and again, as far as the petty crime, this is anywhere in any city in the world, right? Avoid the hotspots, avoid public transports because it's already crazy all the time. It's going to be even more crazy in 2025. and just educate, your clients. Don't put anything in your back pockets, keep things. I mean, it's common. We think, right, it's common sense because most of us are well-traveled, but it's very important that we let our clients know. And it's not Rome, it's any city anywhere in the world. So does anybody have any questions before we move on?
Yeah, Steve, but I think it's still the same end from before. I don't know if you want to ask us something else.
Okay.
Okay, no, that's okay.
Great.
Perfect.
Awesome. So when do we think the best time to avoid crowds are? December is not, I mean, there's going to be crowds all year. Next year, December, there will be crowds, but at least if they've got to come and they want to come during those winter months and they're into Christmas markets, that will be a really cool time of year to be here. November, it's usually one of the most dead months. Again, we're still in Jubilee year, right? So respectively, but then January through March, like once Easter, which will be April
Yeah, at the end of
20th.
yeah, 2020.
Yeah, it was very early this year, like March 31st,
Yeah.
but next year will be towards the end of April. That's probably gonna be around the worst time.
Yeah,
And unless
the
people are coming for Jubilee for that pilgrimage experience, you may want to avoid those months. And I get it, a lot of people, especially family with kids, they have to travel during the summer. So I think just, again, to make that experience as smooth and as enjoyable as possible, the sooner they start planning, the better. But if you have clients that are flexible, you may want to consider some of those months. All right, let's get to the fun part. We have a lot to show you here. And this is where Jonathan is gonna showcase some of the work that he does for us on a daily basis. But we have lots of accommodations, lots of experiences in Rome. We don't have time to cover them all, so we thought we would pick 4 in Rome, and then we have some off the beaten path to show you as well. And you're also gonna see a brand score on those slides. We give a brand score based on, several of our values, amenities, views, right? Food, culinary, do they have, what character do they have? Do they have a story, right? Any historical significance, importance that we should know about that place, location, and their sustainable practice. We are promoters of sustainable travel and even sustainable luxury, right? Which is often, can be used a little bit in a misleading way. So just because you may see a score of 3 or 4, it's still great for us. We're just
Yes.
very, very hard judges.
Yeah, for us, the people are very important. That's
Mhm.
why the accommodation, it's not only a place where you sleep. It's like you have to live in the place, to know about the owner, the family, the story. I mean, most of the time people think traveling it's only walking and sleeping. That's not true. It's almost you can really enjoy a place and enjoy the accommodation. It's the part of the experience.
Right. So we're going to show you like 4 different accommodations that are in Rome, totally different experience, totally different budgets, right? But we figured this will give you a good overview of all the possibilities that we can offer. So Villa Spalletti, is anybody familiar with Villa Spalletti other than Tracy? And I know Katie is, because I think she stayed there.
Yes. Okay, I can put down my hand.
Okay, so before we get into it, we're just going to show you a quick video that will probably answer some of your questions.
Hi, my name is Andrea Spalletti Trivelli. I'm the owner of Villa Spalletti Trivelli. The villa has been built by my great-great-grandparents at the end of the 1800s, and for over 100 years it has been my family's house. And since 2006, the only major thing we changed were the tenants. We left and you moved in. Nowadays it's me and my sister that are fully based here on property and looking after our guests and our house like my parents and great-grandparents used to do back at their times. Basically, this has to be your Roman home, giving you the experience of an aristocratic house from the early 1900s with the same style of service, the same level of privacy and unicity. When we first opened the villa, we had 12 rooms, and the decision came easy since ancient Rome had 12 neighborhoods. Every room in the villa would be dedicated to one of the historical neighborhoods that used to make up ancient Rome. So you can pick your favorite neighborhood and hopefully get more connected and get closer to the everyday life of the neighborhood you're staying in, and not only the historical part of it. Surrounded by the authentic art collection of my family, with the freedom to treat this place like if it was your own, without compromising on anything as far as the service, but immersing yourself in the history of Italy, Rome, and the Spalletti Trivelli family. The whole reason why this house is here is because my great-great-grandmother was nominated Lady-in-Waiting to Queen Margherita. So if you ever had a pizza margherita, she is the one you need to thank for. And hence, they found themselves in the need for a house in the center of Rome, next to the presidential palace that used to be the king's palace back then. And this is how Villa Spalletti came to be in the center of Rome. We're 5 minutes walk from most of the major sites of Rome, including the Trevi Fountain, but you will never, ever notice that you are in the dead center of one of the most chaotic cities in the world, as when you walk outside in our private garden or sit outside upstairs on the rooftop, you will completely forget that you're in a city. The feeling will be of being somewhere 100 miles away from it all. But again, whenever you're ready, walk outside, and within a few steps you hit almost every single thing you want and wish to see in this city.
Okay, so was everybody able to hear that okay? I know sometimes the video on a Zoom
perfect.
is awesome. Great. So Andrea, okay, how do you put it back to full screen? I don't know. But this is okay, perfect. Thank you. So of course, Andrea, pretty much said it all. The unique things about this villa, I mean, so many things, right? The location, you are super offbeat. You're like in this neighborhood above, kind of high up, right? When you walk down 5-7 minutes to reach Trevi Fountain, but it's super quiet. You have a park right outside. So if you have those clients that want to be away from noisy, Piazza di Spagna, Trevi Fountain, Via del Corso, this is a great, great place. People that love art history. And the amazing things is that the common spaces are what you would find in a 100-room hotel. Like the spa is huge.
Yeah.
For only 12 rooms.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it's the biggest one I saw in Rome, because
Mhm.
like you are in the middle of Rome, and this place it's amazing, because like you have the opportunity to rest after a long day, but you are still in the heart of Rome, and you have the spa, you have the rooftop.
terrace.
Yeah, I mean, that place, it's incredible if you think you are in the middle of Rome, because it's very chaotic. After a chaotic day, this place is perfect.
Yeah, so again, it's perfect for history lovers who enjoy space and quiet, but yet want that easy access of, all the things that Rome offers. And Andrea, he's super present. If he's there, he's not there all the time, but he's there about half of the time. And if he's there, your clients will get to meet him and hear the story firsthand, which is, it's amazing, right? It's priceless.
He's part of the story. I
Yeah.
mean, he is part of the accommodation,
He
of
is,
the
yeah.
experience.
Absolutely. They have a restaurant, like they have a beautiful garden and a rooftop terrace, and a must try is the ravioli cacio e pepe, which cacio e pepe is
The cacio e pepe, the cacio, it's a cheese. It's one of the traditional Roman dishes. So you really have to try
and it's
it.
very good because they put a lemon ingredient in there, which I won't spoil.
It was the
but-
secret.
The secret.
It was a secret.
Yeah, well, no,
That was
now
the
I said
secret.
it.
There is no more
The
secret.
lemon was the secret ingredient. But does anybody have any questions on Villa Spalletti? Good. Okay, Palazzo Villon. Again, we'll show you a short video. This is by far the most exclusive stay you can have in Rome.
last shot was the table. It was a mirror.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's called the Salone.
Yes.
How you put it back to full screen, please? Okay, thanks. This is called the Salone degli Specchi. Palazzo Villon, I'm sure maybe a lot of you are familiar with the Shadir collection. It is a part of the Shadir collection, but what's so unique about this historic palace, it only has 3 rooms, right?
It's
And
different. There is an hotel called
Hotel Villon.
Hotel Milan. It's near, but it's always the same owner, but it's a different one. This.
Yes, yes. So this is it's right across from the Tevere, the Tiber River, and it's very close to Piazza di Spagna, 10-minute walk from the Pantheon. And it's just like sleeping in a museum,
Yeah.
right? So that's that experience that it provides. And again, with the fact that it only has 3 suites, if you have a group and they can get the place exclusively, having a dinner with a private chef in that Salone degli Specchi room, it's literally like
Yeah,
eating.
organize a party too. I mean, it's a life experience.
Yeah, it's like eating in the Palace of Versailles,
Yes.
it's that experience. They have a spa, they have a gym, they have a disco ball,
Yeah.
right? So, and even if you have a client that just rents one room, they have access to the butler service and all of those things. They do not have any outdoor space. They're in a historic palace. You walk in and you actually walk a few steps down. So there's not really a lot of stairs to go up. So it is that kind of indoor, inside a museum experience that you get to sleep in. So exclusive white glove service once in a lifetime, right? This is the place where, again, even with Villa Spalletti, but even more so here, the accommodation is a destination. If they're just coming here to sleep, probably not worth it, right? You're
Yeah.
gonna want the client that is gonna want to be here, they're gonna want to spend the time to even just admire the artwork and the beautiful masterpieces. Yep. Take the time to marvel at Salone degli Specchi. Obviously, it's a must, right? It's like being in the Sistine Chapel by yourself. Any questions on Palazzo Villon? No? Good.
No.
And price wise, there's a lot of flexibility. You won't necessarily find pricing for this online. For the chapel room, which is this one that you see pictured here, off season, we can get it for about 3,000, 3,500 a night. So it's not that bad. Some of the other rooms that are bigger, are more in the 5,000 a night range, but there's still a client for that. It's not like 10,000 a night. So it can be accessible for some people. Okay, Domus 21. This is probably our most budget value accommodation because it's right in the heart of Rome, 5 minutes from the Pantheon. It's not a full hotel. They only have 6 suites. We'll show you a brief video, but this space that you get within them, like the rooms are huge, the bathrooms are huge, which is very hard to find for the price tag that Domus offers, which is
Because we
anywhere.
are in the center of Rome. Most
Right.
of the time, people think you're in the center of Rome. Everything is small. This place it's not small.
Yeah, and the price point can go from 300 to maybe 450, 500 a night, depending on the season. So you're getting really good value. Again, just a quick snapshot to give you, let me see if I can do this perfect. To give you an idea of the place, it's not a full hotel, right? So you don't have a 24/7 reception. The reception is from 8 to 6, and you have one common area, but this is more the rooms, that are large. It's in a historic palace. So there's about like 8 steps to get to the elevator. Then you go up, and it is a really cool Roman experience because you'll see Romans that live in the palace, coming in and out, but it's by no means a full hotel. So if you have somebody, they will need that 11 p.m., reception, we may need to go with a full hotel. But again, the value for what you get and the location are great. We've got nothing but amazing feedback. So budget-minded travelers who will spend most of their time out and about. Unfortunately, they don't have an outdoor space again because it's inside a palace. But the size of the rooms, some of the rooms you can have 2 king-size beds in. So for families, and they have a little wall to separate the spaces, this is a really great budget-friendly option. No questions? Good. Awesome. So we also work, and we get these questions all the time from our travel advisors, with apartments. A lot of them are in Trastevere area or Piazza Navona. Some of them we have the keys to, and we personally check people in. I don't know, but the whole self-check-in code thing on the door, it works for some people, but for a lot of us who may not be as high tech, we prefer to just have that impact, walk them in, explain how the AC works, right? All the lighting. So this is a really cool apartment. The owner is an interior designer, as you can tell from kind of the design. It's a 2-bedroom, although it's 1 bedroom, and then the other one is a mezzanine upstairs. So for family, you know, with kids, it's a really great option. It's right by Piazza Navona, so it's an awesome location that feels more open than a lot of other spaces in Rome. They have an outdoor space as well that can be reached via a spiral staircase. And this, again, it's housed in a historic palazzo, but they don't have an elevator. So you will have a few flights of stairs to reach the apartment. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, that place in the heart of Rome is very incredible because, like, Letizia, who is the how do you call
The owner,
yeah, not the
designer.
the designer. Yes, she made a great job with this apartment, and you feel at home, but you are in the heart of Rome. That's very an amazing place. I mean, after a long day, you can just chill on the rooftop, and enjoy the apartment.
Yes, and a lot of the times we always have, you know, fruit and snacks and a stocked fridge for clients upon arrival. Sometimes we've done delivery of pizza, lasagna.
Yeah.
When we didn't have a lot of travelers, my mom was still making lasagna for everyone, and then she told me she needed to.
Lasagna is very great. Oh, aspetta, mi ha aperto il cancello.
Sorry, guys. Of course, the one thing we thought was going to bother us tonight that wasn't kids is the dogs. Okay, so we'll move on. But again, great apartment. And if you have requests for groceries, specific drinks, we always accommodate those because, you know, some people that get to the apartment, it's nice for them not to have to go to the grocery
And the
store.
check-in and check-outs are you can manage, so that's not a problem.
Yes, and we can help obviously with bags. Because of the stairs, but again, it's important for them to know that there's stairs in a lot of those historic palazzos, especially when you get an apartment. Okay, so again, we have a lot more accommodations that we work with in Rome, but we wanted to show you a good variety, right from the 5-star and exclusive hotel to the more budget-friendly options. Now we'll talk about some of our favorite experiences that are beyond the typical Colosseum and Vatican tour, and then we'll move on outside of Rome to see what else there is that Lazio offers. So the e-bike Appian Way experience, it's really a favorite one. It can be done as a group or it can be done privately, and you go on like the ancient 2,000-year-old Appian Way. Most of the ride is through parks, so you get to see like the ancient aqueducts. And, you know, when people say, is there a concern with safety? We've done it also with kids. There are a few times where you will get on actual, you know, roads, but most of it's off the beaten path. It's within green park, so you take some fresh breath of fresh air to be for a day immersed in nature and see those aqueducts away from the crowds.
Yeah, most of the time people think Rome it's only Colosseum, and that's not true. Rome it's Rome. I mean, the town it's surrounded by history. So everywhere you go in Rome, there is history. So there is very hidden gem you can easily find off the beaten path. So really, that's kind of experience are very incredible because it's unique experience.
Yes, and it's hard when, you know, the client's average stay in Rome is 3 nights, right? And again, if it's your first time, it's hard to find people that are open to doing experiences like this, because by the time they go to the Colosseum and the Forum, the Vatican museums, and the other day they do Baroque Rome with the Pantheon, the Trevi Fountain, Spanish Steps, and so forth, it's done, right? But if you ask me, how long do you need for Rome? It's like a lifetime is
Yeah.
not enough.
We
Right?
still continue to discover new things in Rome.
Yes.
So
Yes. So again, if you have travelers that are coming during Jubilee, then maybe have them stay a whole week, right? That way they can get off the beaten path, or we can get them in a place outside of Rome and get them in the
but
city.
it could be a good option for people who are coming back in Italy. I mean,
Right.
if they're going, I don't know, in other places in Italy, they can spend maybe a few days in Rome before and do some new experience.
Right.
Karen?
Yep.
We've got a few questions in Q&A. Do you see them, or do you want me to read them
Oh,
to you?
okay.
go.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Can any of these properties accommodate family of 6, 4 small children in one room suite? That's a great question, Melissa. So Villa Spalletti, they do have 3 apartments, and one of them is big enough, can accommodate up to 6 people, but their rooms can also be connected. So some of those rooms that you saw in the video, there's a door, you can open it up, they can have the common area. So yes, a lot of those can accommodate family with small children of 4 and 6. And as far as the apartments, depending on the season again, and of course with Jubilee, you know, that's subject to change a little bit, but we can get the Navona apartment for about, on average, like 350 to 400 a night, which is really great considering that you're getting 2 rooms. So again, if it's a family with the children, you know, 350, 400 a night, nowadays, you can't even get a nice room at a 4-star hotel. So sometimes we opt for the apartment. Does that answer your questions?
I guess
Yes.
yes. Oh no.
During
Okay.
during Jubilee, that's the highest rating would be around 450, or would it go higher?
If we book now, and like I said, kind of the trick of getting the 2024 rates, right, for 2025, if you're planning much earlier and we have very close direct relationships with those specific accommodations, yes. Of course, if we're, you know, 1 month out, they're planning for May to June, July, I mean, probably would be hard to find availability. And at that point, the rates would have gone up significantly. So I would say during Jubilee,
Significantly.
go ahead.
What is significantly? How much?
I would say that apartment, again, if you're going in June to that apartment, you'll probably see it go for more like 600 to 650 a night.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, sorry, some come through the Q&A and some through the chat. So thank you, Tracy. Please feel free to interrupt us at any point if we don't catch the
Okay,
questions.
no, we have the everything also.
Perfect.
That's it.
Yeah, and again, you know, accommodation prices, the best thing you can do, the best value is to plan it early, and we can get a significant savings on those standard rates. So back to the experiences, another favorite one, which I'm sure may not be new, it's a Rome street food tour. We're very proud of our street food, from the
Yes.
suppli to the
The maritozzo, everything.
grattachecca, which
Yes.
is the Roman version of Italian ice. Is really butchering it because I've had Italian ice
One
in the
food
US.
tour,
and
it's not enough to
it's
try
not like
everything.
that. But every traveler we've had for this experience absolutely loves it. We recommend doing it with a small group. There's usually 5 to 8 people, so it's, you know, it's nice to share the food and the reactions. But sometimes if you have clients that prefer the privacy, we can certainly do it privately. And this is usually between Trastevere and Campo dei Fiori. So you have the markets, you have a lot of like
And
really
it's
cool
not a
boutiques.
touristic market, so you are very in the middle of Rome. Most of the Roman
Mhm.
continue live in the center of Rome. So that's mean when you go in Trastevere, in Campo dei Fiori, you live the Roman experience, and that's a big part of the experience.
Yes. Yes, and a lot of the times, like we put people in accommodations in those areas, which yes, they're gonna be a bit of a longer walk, right, to reach the Colosseum, to reach the Pantheon, but then they get to live that experience. If
It's a little
that's
bit
what they're
less
seeking.
touristic,
Yeah.
massive touristic. It's more like Roman experience. Yeah.
Right. Right,
get that.
absolutely. That's where I grew up in Campo de Fiori, you know, on Friday nights. So
Yeah, me
um,
too.
yeah. Okay, so Doria Pamphili, an amazing like museum that absolutely deserves a visit. Most people have never been to it, and
I
it's
prefer
not,
this one to the Vatican.
well, right,
Yeah,
right, because the
it's
Vatican,
different.
you're shoulder to shoulder, right?
Yeah,
And
but this one,
you're-
it's impressive. I mean,
Mhm.
it's very beautiful.
Yes. So again, if you have people that appreciate, you know, art, but they absolutely despise crowds, then especially during Jubilee, it will be great to offer them an option that is different than the Vatican museums. So Dario Pamphili, it's really beautiful palace, and you can admire, you know, just like you were seeing in Palazzo Villon, right? Except that it's obviously a lot bigger. So it's an experience that we really
You
recommend.
can sleep in this place.
No, we're working on it. No, just kidding. Okay, so getting a little bit outside of the city, we're looking at an hour away. Again, with traffic during Jubilee and road closures, please don't quote us on it. Flexibility is going to, and patience are going to be key. But Villa d'Este and Villa Adriana in Tivoli, they're amazing UNESCO villas, beautiful gardens. You can spend a whole day. You can visit both of them. We can take the clients to have a nice, super off the beaten path, authentic meal. So for people that do enjoy kind of that villa / gardens, Roman gardens, those are beautiful experiences that you won't get in the center of Rome. So highly recommended. We've always had amazing feedback. So some of the other experiences that we offer in and around Rome, lots with food and wine, you know, porchetta is, all Romans are proud of porchetta. Arice is a town that's also about an hour from Rome. You want to talk about that? Yes.
This place, I mean, most of the time when people ask me about Rome, I talk about Ariccia because it's near Rome and it's from the Castelli, the castle.
Mhm.
It's near the Pope area because there is Castel Gandolfo with the summer place of the Pope. There is two lake, amazing lake, and there is this place called Ariccia. It's a small town, but there you can really enjoy the Roman food. So you have the porchetta. It's meat. It's a pig meat. It's something you should try once in your life. And with that they produce wine because the Castelli is the famous place in Lazio for the wine, and the wine experience are very amazing with the porchetta. So you should try.
Yes. We actually do make really good wine here in Lazio, contrary to popular belief. You know, Italy is just like Tuscany, you know, Barolo, and maybe Sicily now, Etna, right? But Lazio has some really good wine, and we always encourage people to try the local wine of where they are exploring. So I know I want to get to the off the beaten path accommodation. So just very quickly, you know, market and cooking class. We have an amazing chef who has a private apartment on Tiber Island. So in the middle of the Tiber, you can see, you know, the river, and he takes people to the market, and then he does a cooking class. And he also has a house in Panzano Romano, which again, super authentic medieval village, about an hour outside of Rome. So we can do that experience either or in the city or outside, or some people want to do it, you know, both, because they end up becoming really good friends with the chef. So that's a really cool experience. We also do winery tour and tasting that are closer to Rome. There's an amazing winery called Telanai. They're not set up for tourism whatsoever. Like you get your feet dirty, you get, you know, in the vineyards. Giuliano, he's a young entrepreneur. He's in his late 30s, and he serves a lot of Michelin star restaurants in Rome. So his wine is excellent. He only makes white wine, but he just started making red as well. And all the clients that we've taken there, they loved it. It's a very down to earth, you know, there's no, you know, set up building with glass windows overlooking these hills. You know, it's pretty much his house, his farmhouse, and the vineyards, and he does an excellent job. So it's a really cool, authentic experience. Then we could also, actually here in Cerveteri, where I live, and he lives in the nearby town of Ladispoli, we have the Etruscan, a UNESCO site, which is the Etruscan necropolis. So it's an amazing experience, and there's
Was the capital?
hardly, yeah,
Cerveteri.
yeah, Cerveteri is like one of the first Etruscan towns in Europe.
It was the first one.
It was the first one. Perfect. And so we can take people here, you know, for a day that can go to the necropolis. Then we can take them to this amazing cantina called Cantina di Torre in Pietra. They have the restaurant and the cantina that is built into a rock, and they do an excellent job with their food and wine pairing. And we're 10 minutes from the beach as well. So if instead they prefer having an authentic seafood lunch, that would be a cool experience. And then we're always looking out for the Sagre, right? Like any time of year you come, whether it's fall, spring, summer, we always have a food festival.
You need to know something about Italy. Only 2 things matter here: soccer, calcio, and food.
Yes, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, like in April, there's the Artichoke Food Festival here in Ladispoli. At the end of September, of course, there's the Grape Festival. So we're always, if you have a request for an itinerary and you tell us that your clients are into food and wine, if there's a food festival in and around where they're staying, you're gonna know about it. So those are experiences that everybody really loves, because they're usually the only Americans in there, English-speaking people.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, I want to be mindful of time, so we'll be
Okay,
moving
well-
quickly. History and Heart, treasure markets, and the Imperial Forum, the catacombs. On top of the setup catacombs that are more like your museum, you go to the tickets, you see the skeletons behind the glass. We actually work with the Sotterranei di Roma, Underground Rome, which is the active archaeologist group. So we take people where they're actively still excavating sites.
Big. It's
huge.
huge. It's very, like, I mean, it's a
yeah.
town
Yeah.
under the town. That's very impressive.
Yes, and you can actually do it by e-bike,
Yes.
and cover a lot more ground, but they give you the helmets, the lights. You actually get to crawl, like claustrophobic people, this is a no.
Yeah, but
But
it's not so tiny. I mean,
well, when you get to crawl through the hole and you see
we
a
do that, but it
skeleton,
was only for us.
and for our clients. But the point is, like, the skeletons that they'll see, there's no glass.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a museum. So you literally crawl to this hole in the wall and you'll put your hand in, you're like, oh crap, I just touched a 2,000-year-old whatever, right? So that's a really cool experience, especially for kids. We call it the Indiana Jones. They really love it. Again, we won't go through the archaeological park of Ostia Antica, also on the beach, that we often combine with a seafood lunch. If you have any questions on those, feel free to ask, but we do want to show you some off the beaten path outside of Rome accommodations. So what are some alternatives, again, that are close enough to the city in the region of Lazio, that perhaps if your client is not looking for that crowded experience, but they
There is
do
not
want to,
only Rome in Lazio.
right, yeah, you can have them stay here, and then maybe they can go and do the Colosseum, right?
I don't. Someone trying
Any-
to. Yeah.
Questions?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so there's more, but again, these are 3 of our favorites. La Posta Vecchia, it's an amazing 5-star hotel. 5 minutes from our place. We were having aperitivo there with my in-laws last night, and they are the only Renaissance palace to have ever been built on the beach. They have 21 rooms, again, 5 stars, right on the water. They have a little private beach, and it's, you know, you're 40 minutes from Rome. You actually have the train station in Ladispoli, and you can take the train, which could be done from here because it will be off the beaten path, right? Even during Jubilee, to take the train in, which
Yeah,
would
in
be
20 minutes
faster.
you are in the Vatican.
Yeah. So this is a really, really beautiful hotel. They have a gym, they have a beautiful spa, and they are 30 minutes from the airport. So a lot of the times, even if you have clients that maybe are going to Sicily or Puglia or somewhere where chances are they'll come directly into Rome, maybe spend a night and then head off to take another flight to another destination in Rome, this is a great place where we put people or either at the beginning or at the end of their trip to relax. And it's what they have bikes, and you can bike, and it's walking distance to the beach town of Ladispoli, which has a beautiful walkway along the sea, beautiful promenade, shops, restaurants. So it's a really, again, the accommodation is the destination type of experience. Fun fact, this was at one point the house of Paul Getty. And in fact, he was a collector. He collected, you still see the beds from the Medici, everything in the palace is original. And in this photo, that castle right next to La Posta Vecchia, Castello de Scalchi, is it still belongs to the Odescalchi family.
They live inside.
Yeah. And this was part of that Paul Getty got a hold of. He was able to buy it. Then his grandson got kidnapped by the mafia. They cut his grandson's ears off for ransom. Paul Getty fled Italy. La Posta Vecchia ended up being sold at auction. But the cool thing is when Paul Getty was excavating to build a pool, the Rome Pass for transportation, sorry, let me finish this phrase. I don't want to, and then I'll answer that question. The cool thing, when Paul Getty was excavating to build a pool, he found a Roman villa. And so now you have an archaeological museum inside, downstairs at La Posta Vecchia, which is private. It's only for the guests. It's not like it's a museum that you can come from the outside. So, you know, what your clients are paying for. This hotel, off season, you can get an entry-level room for low 600 a night, all the way up to obviously upwards of 1,000.
The definition of the accommodation is the destination.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, Steve, to answer your question, do you recommend the Rome Pass? During Jubilee, again, public transportation inside the city is going to be really tough. Trains obviously will continue to use. If people are well-traveled and they want to get the Rome Pass, get in the subway and do all of that, is the transportation what you're referring to, Steve? I just want to make sure I have your question right. No? Is it still there?
Yes, it's here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so again, during Jubilee, the subways are going to be extremely crowded. Like Termini train station, if you have ever been to it, it's already always busy. It will be insanely more busy. So obviously, if they're getting out of town, yes, we recommend taking the train down to Naples, Florence, wherever they're going. But as far as using public transport, as long as they know what they're getting into, yeah, they can get the Rome Pass just so they save a little bit, right? But we would not, for our clients, recommend using that
Because
subway
now if you
during
want
Jubilee.
only to use the subway, you can use your card,
Yeah.
your credit card. You don't need to buy a ticket now. You
Exactly.
can just
Super
use
easy.
your credit card for the
Yeah.
bus too.
Yeah.
So only if you want to use a lot of time, it's better to have the Roman pass, but you can use your credit card.
Right, right. All right, so we'll try to move quickly through the rest of those. Corte della Maestà in Civita. Has anybody ever heard of Civita di Bagnoregio? It's about like an hour and a half from Rome, and it's perfect when people want to go to the Valdorcia region of Tuscany, because it's almost halfway, right, between Rome and Valdorcia. And it's an incredible, they call it the disappearing village. It's, oh,
Because it's disappearing.
yes, because it's this village on the top of a hill that can only be accessed by a footbridge. So you have to walk, I know
This one.
Yes.
It's the first one in the top. This is Civita di Bagnoregio.
yes. It's an amazing place where we recommend, 1 or 2 nights. The only way to access the town is via footbridge. The accommodation will take the bags, so the clients obviously don't have to carry the bags, but it is a steady 1 kilometer uphill, right? Like a steady uphill. So just keeping in mind that what it takes. And Corte della Maestà, it's amazing. They only have 4 rooms. Cristiana, the owner, is owner run and operated, and she does an amazing, I don't know why the second picture is not loading, an amazing job at really providing just a unique custom experience for every traveler. They also have a spa, so it's a great, romantic escape, and there's amazing hiking right around the town. The town is super small. You literally can walk the whole town in like
5 minutes. No.
maybe 10, right? 15 if you're looking and doing it slow.
Yeah,
But
Depends.
But there's a lot of restaurants. There's like, 15, 20 restaurants, right? As when things are open. So you will want to be mindful of the time of year. So Civita di Bagnoregio, amazing stop, especially if clients are heading to Tuscany for a night or even
Umbria
two.
too, because it's near, but it's a great stop.
Yeah. Okay, Vigna Caio. I really want to quickly talk about Vigna Caio, and I can show you a video, Tracy, if you think we have time. Otherwise, we can send you the registration and people can click on the link and watch the video. It's about 2.5 minutes, but Vigna Caio is on Lake Bracciano. So 40 minutes from the airport, 40 minutes from Rome. The view of Vigna Caio is the lake in the front and the castle, as you can see, the other another one belonging to the Scalchi family in the back. So you can literally walk 5-10 minutes to the lake, and you can walk five minutes to the town of Bracciano, which is a super cool, authentic, like medieval hilltop town village. They only have 15 rooms. This place actually just opened last December. And it's owned by an American who married a Roman. So this was kind of her project. And she had another hotel in Trevignano, which is another one of the 3 towns that touch the lake of Bracciano. It's really beautiful. You can do small weddings here, events. They have a spa, and a really great spa for the number of rooms, an outdoor jacuzzi. It's off the beaten path. And again, for the accessibility, for the space that you get, but the accessibility to the town, it's really great. And you can get this place right now for like $250 a night because it just opened, right? So they're trying to get their name out. So highly, highly recommend. Everybody we've sent so far has absolutely loved it. Oh, perfect. So Tracy, should I show the video? What do you think? I know we're like 8.
I would like to see it.
1 minute.
Huh?
I would love to see it. Right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead. Few minutes?
No, it says done 2 minutes.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, one. Yeah, we love this place. I mean, and they actually are just now opening a pool as well. So again, sometimes it's hard to find those kind of places that are within walking distance, right, of a town and a lake, which you can actually get without a nautical license, little electric boats, and go around and get off at the other 2 towns on the lake. So really, really cool experience. Does anybody have any questions? Great. Well, thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Oh, Steve.
Where is it?
I don't know. I saw a hand being raised.
Oh yeah, I don't know. No, Steve. Yeah, Steve. What?
Oh, allowed to talk, but we are
Can,
not
can
everybody.
you talk now?
Hey, guys, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, had a little bit of a catastrophe here in and out of the meeting for a moment with the Wi-Fi, and awesome presentation, loved it. super excited about a lot of this. I'm fairly new in this game. I just started in January, and things are going really well for me.
Great.
I had my first client looking to book Rome, where we booked Rome for a week. I was unaware of the Jubilee. They want to do Rome, Florence, Rome. So I booked 3 hotels, and then your thing popped up. So I joined it, oh, let me sign up for that webinar. And I'm listening to you speak, and you guys only do really whole itineraries. So I'm not really sure how it works. If I were to say, okay, let's try and put something together, because I can still change, like if I can convince my client to switch hotels, and then kind of work with you to curate the entire experience, I think that would be fantastic. But I don't really know, how does commission work on my side? How are you guys taking care of all of the excursions, itineraries, transportations, tickets, all of that stuff?
Absolutely. So Steve, I would love to, I'm going to share with you, I'm going to get your email once we sign off, and I'm going to share with you all the answers to all your questions, and also the webinar that we did last time that was more an introduction and talked about the entire process, the commission, right? And just like I mentioned earlier, if all you booked is the accommodations and we can still take ownership of everything else and the overall experience, we will be happy to, of course, talk to you, because sometimes, based on the budget, or maybe their friend went to this accommodation, that it may not necessarily be bad. It may just be that we don't know and we haven't personally vetted. We're happy to have the accommodations booked by the advisor and provide everything else. So I'm going to shoot you an email once we sign off with kind of more information on that. And also, I would love to just remind everybody, this is the registration link for the next webinar that will be on Sicily. But also, if you have a client request that you would like to submit, you can do so on our website at lifebeyondtheroom.com. There's a page dedicated to travel advisors with a trip request form. And because we love to get to know you and your clients, we will always schedule just an intro call with you, Steve, with anybody else that's interested, to really get to know you, right, your business and your clientele, before we even start working on your client's requests. So you can find all of those forms on our website. I should have put them here, but I'll follow up with an email and send all of that to, no, it's not on here, but I'll send that to everybody. Any other questions? And guys, like, we'd love to hear from you. We'll send out a feedback form. I know sometimes we talk a little bit fast. We have a lot of material we want to cover during this precious hour that you've given us. So we'd love to hear your feedback. And as we're building our schedule of webinars and locations, we want to hear from you. Where are you getting requests? Yeah. Where are you getting requests? I know obviously the Amalfi Coast, it's like, oh, everybody wants to go to Amalfi Coast, right? But there is also a way to do the Amalfi, to experience the Amalfi Coast, that it's authentic and off the beaten path. So we'll ask those questions in the form. So feel free to share all your inputs, right? Destinations that you're interested in hearing more about. Oh, perfect. Yes, we'll send everybody an email with the prior webinar, the link to this webinar. That way you have access to this. Those videos are not posted anywhere yet, so you have seen them exclusively. But yes, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Tracy, as always, and we'll follow up and look forward to hopefully talking to each of you individually.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thank
Bye.
you, guys. Thanks, Karen, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
My pleasure, Angela. Have a good day, everyone.
You too.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.
I think that's all over you then.
Siamo solo noi 3.
Okay, put it.
Siamo solo noi 3.
Hey, are
Did
you
you-
still on?
Yeah, I wanted to make
Where
sure.
are you?
nobody-
Can I stop sharing?
That's a good
Good
question.
idea.
you know?
Getting lots of, do you see the Q&A? Getting lots of really good feedback.
Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
I answered a couple of them,
Because-
but they keep coming in.
will
Dana,
we lose this Q&A questions once we close? Because it would be nice to perhaps in the follow-up email also put the
No,
answers
it's-
to the Q&A question.
yeah, you can actually answer here. But I don't know, honestly, I don't know if I think it's something that has to be set up at the beginning, that you can keep the chat open or the
Screenshots of all of those. We'll take
Q&A open. You
screenshots
can do
really
that
quick.
too,
So I will
but you can just type. Like I answered Dana and said, I'll make sure that you get one. Thanks for joining us. So you can just go ahead and send the link to the prior webinar. Just make sure you have her email.
Yeah.
And say,
Because I
and
should have
Erica
the
just-
emails to all of those, to all the people that registered. I know Jet has all like the list of all the emails.
yeah, and the rest of it is just great.
What do you think? Did you like it?
I
It
did.
was a little bit too long.
Yes. Yeah, it was just a little, maybe 10 minutes. I would shave 10 minutes off of it at least. But otherwise, I think it was great. It was great.
Great. Well, yeah, I
And
would love to put.
When I sent you that message that we were losing people, because I was watching if people were dropping out, and there were a few times, like, well, Steve said that his Wi-Fi, so I saw him drop out, then I saw him come back
We lose
in.
only one in the middle.
That
I don't
dropped
remember
out?
the name, but only one left during the
Because we had at the
webinar.
beginning we had 18. And at the end, we had 14. So at some point, we did lose a few. So if we can keep it closer to an hour,
Mhm.
it because they're working. So when when they tune in, they're giving, they're also looking at their, let me come in here. Whoops. When they're, while they're watching, they may also be working. So,
Right.
you may not even have full attention for an hour. They may be drifting in and out of the presentation. So you want to keep it as close to an hour as you can, including.
Well, we thought this was going to be an hour and a half, so I know I kind of rushed
I
through
know.
some of it.
I
but
know. And I
Yeah,
forgot.
what we used
Yeah.
to say.
I forgot to tell you too, because I was thinking yesterday, I need to tell Karen not to do an hour and a half, because you will lose people.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of time to ask for in the middle of the day.
Right.
But no, I think it was great. I think it was great.
Great.
Very informative, and I loved it.
Yeah, I'll follow up with everybody tomorrow. And then, yeah, I'm gonna put together a feedback form. Obviously, the first one, it's like, what do they give feedback on who we are, right? That's a little bit harder, but like this one would be great, like to ask all those questions, like, do you feel like it was too long? Did you feel like it was informative, right? Like, did you feel like there were like vital information missing on hotels presentation? Just a lot of questions. And I know sometimes it's hard we'll try to keep it so that it doesn't take like making
Just a
multiple.
few, yeah.
Yeah, but I love to get that specific feedback, right?
Mhm.
And then also get their ideas on the destinations that they are interested in learning more
Exactly.
about.
I think that would be even just a few questions, just,
Right.
would appreciate your feedback. Was it, did you feel it was too long? And what other destinations would you
Yeah.
like to be covered?
Yeah.
I think you'll get a good idea there. I don't know about specifically asking questions like, do you want more on hotels? Do you want more? Or maybe we'd love your feedback. Did you,
We can have an open-ended question at the end, right?
Yeah.
Any additional thoughts or feedback so that if they
Mhm.
want to take the time and give us details, but maybe, you know, like on our traveler feedback form, we it's easy because then you can have several questions that take half a second. It's like on a scale of 1 to 10, how informative, right? Did you find the webinar? On a scale of 1 to 10, you know, whatever, right? Kind of like this. We'll send it to you. I'll put some time and thought into it tomorrow. And
Okay.
then I'll send it to you with the draft email that we plan on sending everybody. And
Yeah.
I did forget, I did want to put the QR code on the website. I feel like those should be on the webinar. Those should be always be there
DMC.
for the trip request form, right? And the
Mhm.
schedule the intro call. I think those would be just good to have
Yeah.
as a standard.
And maybe even a link to
Mm.
previous webinars.
Oh, that's a good
Yes.
idea. Link to previous webinars. Yes.
Mhm.
Perfect. Good. Was it were we talking too fast at certain points?
No, only towards the end when you felt like you had to speed it.
Yeah.
But,
Okay,
but no, it was great. It really was. I loved it.
good.
That's perfect.
Awesome. Well, hopefully, and you felt like it was, because, you know, so, well, obviously we work at those places and those experiences all the time and they don't feel new to us, but you've obviously been around a lot of
Mhm.
DMCs, a lot of things. So you feel like we shared a lot of unique accommodations and experiences.
Yeah, you definitely did. There were things you were talking about that I had no idea of. And I
That's great.
I
Perfect.
thought I was fairly well informed, but yeah,
Great.
so it was great.
Perfect.
And I love the feedback that we got immediately off of those, 4 or 5 people that
Yeah.
took the
Yep.
time to say something. That last property,
Lignac,
that is,
Caio.
that's crazy. I love it.
They would probably be open to representation because they're new, right?
Mhm.
Like you can get insane rates, like 200 a night, right?
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. If you think they're open, let me know.
Yeah, we'll put you in touch. And like I said, the
Yeah.
owner, it's him and his wife, he's American, and him and Jed have become really good friends because he's from the South, this big dude, and he races Lamborghinis and whatnot. But his wife is like this cute little petite Roman, right? So it's like the giant and the but they've become really good friends. Yeah, we need to have dinner with them soon anyway. So if you want, I can mention that to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love a place like that. That's just so totally off the radar and new.
Yes, yes,
And
exactly.
it's an Italian place, but they know about what American needs.
Oh, when I walked in the first
And
time and saw the bathroom, I
Good.
always go and
so
look at the
important.
shower, right? I go and look at the shower. I was like,
Maybe this is the point we didn't say during the webinar. It's when we do the R&D, it's not only to visit place, but to make sure it's a great place for American people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it's great for the American market.
great.
Yeah. No, definitely. Let me know about this one because that's what was going through my head. They're new. I wonder if they want, and they've got what, 20 rooms, I think it was, or
14.
14.
14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't so small that there wouldn't even be a budget.
Right. Oh no, there's
And
definitely
then
a
he's an
budget.
American that races Lamborghinis, so.
No, he's trying to like spend money with that place because he needs a place to put it in for sure.
Yeah, that's
Good.
cool. No, so there were a lot of things you touched on that were new to me, so I am sure that they were new to pretty much everybody that was on this call.
Great.
That's perfect.
Awesome.
So,
Wonderful. Thank you, Tracy.
thank you.
Let
Good to
you
see
go.
you.
We'll follow up tomorrow. And yes, and thank you for Teracia. I gotta talk to this guy to figure out, when
Yeah.
we can go. But I don't know if we told you, we are also hiring a full-time person in the fall who lives in Sicily because Sicily is our
Oh.
second biggest market, second to the Amalfi.
Wow.
So our idea was that her and I could share a room, you know, and Jonathan could have his room. And that way I can just make the introduction to a lot of our partners. And then she
Great.
would become, we want him obviously because he can also take a lot of the content that we are going to use for the small group trip. But then Maria would really become their main point of contact being local.
Right, great. That's great. That's great. You're
Let you know.
growing.
Yes. Yes. Are.
Yeah, very.
Yes, I want to control the growth. Jet's like, you know, on steroid.
We are working hard.
As long as we keep the quality and, you know,
That's
do the
important
right
thing.
thing, the growth. will-
Exactly, exactly.
Good.
Yeah. All right,
Awesome.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
You.
Have
Thank
a
you.
good day.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Jonathan.
Yeah,
Yes.
I hope to see you soon in Rome, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, I'll work on that.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm hoping possibly in October, but I'm not sure yet. But
Let
I'll
us
let you.
know.
Yeah,
Will you
sure.
will you be around?
Yeah, in October, I don't have anything planned, so you can come.
Yeah.
We can take you to Vigna Caio. I mean, other than going to Terracia,
Yeah, we have
right?
to go in Sardinia too.
You have to go in
in Costiera
Sardinia.
Amalfitana.
You
Oh,
have
that's
to do
right. Well,
all
that'll
Okay.
be like, we were talking about beginning of October, I think.
Yeah, come on. Let us know what we haven't decided dates for Terracia, and that's the only place that I plan to go to. Because I've not been to it, but let us know and we'll block those dates and we'll take you to all those places that we just talked about.
That'd be great. I
Yeah.
would love it.
Good.
Okay.
Awesome.
I
Thank
will
you.
talk with you guys soon.
Yes.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Grazie.
Ciao.